Hamilton, aka Arowbe of Times New Roman, and I'm the writer half of the group, the vocalist and lyricist in Times New Roman. I was working just as myself, as Arowbe, Arowbe, in recognition of my many selves, back at that time, and was doing quite a bit, and we like toured Japan and played shows around in Canada and Cuba at one point. This is kind of like 04, 05, 06, and I kind of quickly became really bored with the type of music I was making, which was pretty traditional hip hop. From a point of frustration with the music that I was doing and the way hip hop was at that time, I kind of wanted like bold, abrupt kind of change from where that was. Times New Roman just kind of happened. I was introduced to Alexander the producer of Times New Roman, and he just had beats that were like nothing I'd ever heard before, and started messing with that and sort of stopped caring, like it was really kind of a hobby, and then it ended up being more successful than a lot of the previous material. Yeah, a mutual friend of ours, Gavin Shepard, had I was working at Athletes World at the time, and had which is a store that doesn't exist anymore, in the Eaton Center, and I got off my shift and checked my phone, and it was like calls and calls and calls and calls from Gavin, which was kind of weird. And when I checked, he was like telling me to come see this movie called Scanner Darkly. When I got there, there was this other dude there, and yeah, I kind of like raced to the theater and got there in time, and we're chilling watching the movie. And I remember as soon as it ended, Gavin's other friend who was there clapped once. It was like that awkward clap or whatever, and then because nobody else clapped in the theater or whatever, and said like, he's like, I think it's good when people clap after art they like or whatever. And we started talking, and yeah, it turned out he had some production. We decided just to like hear each other's stuff, and it turned out Gavin had very strategically invited us both to show up that day, wanting us to at least hear each other's work or whatever. That kind of happened. We did one song. Just because when I heard some of the music, I had something written. It was a song called Of Silence. It was on our first EP, and from there he had all this other production like ready to go that I was like, these beats are amazing, and I wanted to get on them. So Times New Roman was kind of born that way. Artistically, our philosophies can be very similar, and like the processes that we like to take. And I think as far as like process-wise, like it's always different and it's always experimental, and it's I think the right mix of sort of the high pressure, painful sort of creation, and you know, where you're really grinding and it's hard. And I think art like has to be like that sometimes. And then the much more playful, like just, you know, like fuck around. And like I think it's important for us to have both, and to be able to sort of take these two different approaches, and to be really like aloof stylistically, like jumping around from style to style, and like that kind of promiscuity is evident in our music. It's going to be really evident in our new album. It's kind of all over the place genre-wise. The only like unifying thing is that there's like quite a bit of vocals that are influenced by like traditional rap, but it's really like all over the place, and it always kind of has been. And that's sort of like where our creativity meets. It's kind of looking for different complementary things, playing, making mistakes, and often writing them out and repeating them until they make sense. There's definitely been like, you know, a very obvious evolution since our like previous music that some people know us for. I think that's partly just where we've grown. Again, like there's that stylistic promiscuity that I mentioned. It's like we're always jumping around from genre to genre within what we do, and I think the challenge of trying to make that all fit is like part of what keeps us going, or keeps us excited about the music. But yeah, the new album, which is coming out in September, is quite an interesting mix of tempos, instrumentation, and electronic stuff. Although no samples on the whole thing, I don't think. And
I don't know about you, I'm a motherfucker, I don't know about you. I'm a motherfucker, I don't know about you. I'm a motherfucker, I don't know about you.
Fuck art.
I'm a motherfucker.